I do notice a theme with you and flushes.
This is it. It's the final episode of this session of Poker Time. It's our 5-10 cash game.
Poker Time Classic.
That's right. Grant's saying that because we reach into the vault. Coronavirus minute. We couldn't film any new episodes, but we found one that you've never seen before. We've got a few others like this too.
And the vault is apparently full of unreasonable ranges, as demonstrated here by Peter, calling Blake's under the gun 5.5x open with 8-9 off when he's +2.
Yeah. That is correct.
4-player.
It's like he finds a fault with the Jack Deuce off, though, somehow.
So the vault is, I guess, a little bit more GTO than I thought.
Yeah.
2 4s on the flop. Nobody's got one of them.
2 clubs, though, for BMW Blake.
2 5s for Ken is the best current hand.
Blake, though, as you see, is chopping the most equity with Ken right now.
And Ken's just going to lead. Interesting play.
Is it 75?
No, it looks like 150. Oh, it is 75. I thought that was a black one, but no.
So pretty small bet, actually. 75 into 230.
Blake could easily raise here.
Yeah, I don't hate a raise at all, actually, for Blake, but Will's going to
Thinking about muffins or something for a second before folding, maybe?
maybe think about flannel. Well, either way, it's gone now.
He had a thought, and he didn't want to leave his cards until his thought was complete.
Well, that's a card that Ken, I guess, could decide to continue on.
He could wrap 5-7 if he wants to.
He blocks it. He picks up some equity, some additional equity. It turns out he's ahead, but
I don't see Blake folding.
No
Oh,
way.
it's 75 again.
oh, it's time to raise.
I like a raise.
Yeah, Blake agrees.
Yep.
That's, yeah.
It would be reasonable to raise an overpair here when Ken bets 75 twice. So that makes it a more credible story also. Gives him a wider range of value.
Blake also does have some nutted hands here. He can have certainly have 2 6s and things.
Works out great for Blake there to raise. He's going to show it, which I guess Ken will feel bad about. Not sure.
I don't know. I looked at Ken's eyes and I saw a little sadness once he saw the cards. So
Oh, look at that smile. That's the smile of a sad man.
it's a forced smile.
You're behind, they fold,
Nice
and you're
hand,
okay
Ken.
with that? Why is that?
Dust in the Wind is just playing in Ken's head right now.
If I raise the flop, I get in big trouble.
It's a wonderful song. You know who sings it?
Kansas.
Yes. Good job. I thought there was no chance you'd get that.
I know one other Kansas song. The other one.
Oh,
Carry on my wayward
Yeah,
son.
yeah. I was going to say that Sun song. That's it. That's a pretty good song for, the era.
All kinds of counters.
Dust in the Wind, though. Good for any era.
Dust in the Wind. I mean, that's how you know that you've fully understood entropy, is when you listen to that song and then contemplate.
You had to go to entropy, huh? So Batiste just opened Jack 10 off under the gun. I have to point it out. I just feel obligated
Just do it.
to mention it.
Go ahead.
Batiste, if you guys missed last episode or don't remember because it was a week ago, seemed to get a little tilty in the last episode after he lost a few pots. And
He was upset with Ken for Ken having a better hand than him.
that is right, for Ken having pocket kings pre-flop and it staying the best hand on every street.
I don't know what he was looking at, but whatever he was looking at, I was trying
Just
to.
waiting for you. We're on borrowed time here, so like.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wheel does not want diamonds.
But he doesn't know that, so actually he does.
And
Want
that's the flop Batiste was looking for right there.
That is pretty extraordinary, that flop.
And he checks it.
I think he's just doing a board-based check.
There's gut shots now for both Blake and Wheel.
Only 50 into 125.
I don't know if Wheel can call the turn.
I don't think he can. Blake, it's an easier call for Blake.
Blake could be ahead.
Yep, exactly. And he's got a gutter to Broadway versus a bad gutter. Like, that feels like it matters a little bit.
He does make
call.
the call. I
Not
think
crazy.
that's a good call.
For 50. Queen would be devastating.
Oh, it's a jack, so
that may cost Blake a little
he
bit of
might
money.
call one more time, and Batiste, of course, feels very comfortable right now.
Yeah, with the full house, I think so.
Really hoping Blake made a straight. Oh, he gets called right away, it looks like.
Yeah.
Just a boot.
I guess Blake was hoping, I don't know, for Queen Jack?
Yeah, bring the queen.
Bring the queen.
I don't think Batiste is betting Queen Jack. That might be the last hand Batiste is betting.
I'm just trying to come up with what Blake would be rooting for there that he calls right away. What is
Bluff.
bluff that check the flop and bet the turn? I guess it's possible.
Yeah.
When the king comes.
Pocket fours that, like,
Yeah.
check the flop, see what happens, and decide, okay, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah. And actually, the river is like, well, ace queen even comes in, which I could have. Right.
Yeah, ace jack against that line might be right on the margins of
It's
profitable. to
really
call.
close, yeah.
Result, but no.
Why don't you 3-bet pre? Let's build a pot.
It's close. It almost happened,
I know.
but I think you're folding.
Austin getting a little loosey-goosey.
Raise,
You were
40.
offsuit. You were offsuit.
Call, fold.
Snap fold.
Ken with what looks like a reasonable call compared to everything else that's going on.
That is true. Look at all the other hands.
I was checking after.
I guess Batiste in the big blind is totally reasonable as well.
Bottom pair for Austin.
Yep.
Gut shot for Batiste.
Ken with the king of clubs. It's a nice little thing to have.
Oh yeah, it's great. Another jack. I
Austin-
wouldn't be surprised to see Batiste take a shot here.
He doesn't. It's time for Austin to start betting, I think, but he does not. He's giving the whole table a free card again.
Well, Batiste gets there.
Yep. I don't know if Batiste is going to get any value from this.
55.
Austin might get sticky.
He might.
It's not a great board.
Nope.
We saw Austin almost called down Snuggie when he had
Mm.
ace-4 a couple episodes ago.
When he just had a pair of fours.
Yeah, on a
the
king-high board. when-
Snuggie 3-bet and then went bet, bet, bet.
Yep.
That's true. But he didn't think too long about this one.
Nope.
They were not heads up, though, in fairness.
And that was a much smaller pot. Just happened now.
Yep.
Cheap. I'm not telling you the cheap ones. Jesus.
You guys ever really want to know? Just let me know and I'll put the cards over.
Ken Blake and Batiste in a war.
I mean, the average VPIP is high.
Yep.
It's like 42% or something.
It's too high.
It is too high. It's like the rent. Too damn high.
Yeah.
Raise, 35.
Wheel gonna join the fray of, hands you probably shouldn't play in the positions you shouldn't play them in.
I mean, at least it's marginal.
Yeah. Like a Mizraki would probably do it.
Oh my God, Miss Rocky would 100% do it.
5 play.
Is that where Poker Snowy gets its ranges from the Mizraki clan?
means he got the C-bet last.
Maybe one of the people is tight.
Hey,
Set of threes
Yep.
for the Snugmeister. Will he fold?
The Snug Meister, and Peter's gonna lead with his top pair.
Top pair, no kicker. He's
Mm.
only got 645 back.
It's a strange-ish lead.
Snuggie might get it all here.
Raise, 125.
Looks like basically a min raise.
Yeah.
Blake is considering middle pair, but no, I don't think he's gonna do it.
Once he sends the car to the curb,
You gotta be careful. There's passengers in there.
I mean,
Fold, call.
Peter
why
gets
does
it in
he have
quick
to be careful?
Heads up.
because the people.
Well, it is a wet board at least.
The people. Well,
Ooh,
Blake is hating his fold right now, but
turns out
turns out it was good.
he's loving it.
Bet,
Yeah.
175.
Is McDonald's gonna sue us now? Is that close enough?
Everyone's closed. It's fine.
The lawyers are closed. Well, Peter has
Peter's-
continued calling.
Well, I mean, again, it's a wet board, and well, that card though is very
That's-
bad
that's
for the wet board.
A very wet card.
If Snuggie were to bet again, you would expect you're almost always losing now.
Snuggie's leaving him $5. It looks like. This is not a hard decision. I don't think. I think this is a pretty easy fold.
It's okay to take your time, but diamonds come in. You have a diamond blocker, I guess. But then what's Snuggie raising with? Queen Jack, he'd almost certainly check back.
I feel like this reaction would be appropriate for if you had King Jack, but
Oh yeah.
but not if you have King 8 here. It just feels like a clear fold.
If you had a bad 10, which somehow you called
Yeah.
the flop with, and then you're like, geez, I guess you just call with your trip 10s though.
Queen 10
Most of the
clubs.
time.
Way
Decide to
good.
find a call.
Oh,
He
Queen
does
10.
make the good
Queen
fold
10's
in the
good.
end.
What do you got? Threes?
Yeah.
Threes, maybe? Yeah.
Oh. Thank you for raising, sir.
Nice.
Wow. Smashed it.
Yeah, Blake's right. Snuggie doesn't raise right there. Blake is definitely calling the flop and
The turn, yeah,
the turn and the river.
Yeah.
And I think he's probably calling the river. too.
probably.
Ace king?
Given what we've learned. Well, Snuggie of the past. Maybe bet something else.
Nice hand.
Knit Snug.
Donking
Knit
ranges.
Snug only
So Peter's down to 40 blinds
Yep.
in front of him. So that should change his strategy. I don't know if it will, but it should.
I mean, if you're at the final table of the World Series of Poker main event, having 40 blinds is pretty good.
It is. But even then, there are certain hands you can't
Yeah,
call
that's
with
true.
pre-flop profitably as a result, you know. Having only 40 blinds that you, if you have 100 blinds, you can play differently, or 200 blinds like a lot of these guys are going to have.
And there's another unreasonable range call by Ken.
Yes.
Snuggy, a very pretty suited connector.
Oh.
Like with a less pretty offsuit medium ace.
I
But
guess
what
I'll,
the hell?
I guess I'll just stop pointing out the
Yeah,
calls.
I
that
think
are-
so.
That are bad.
I think it's time to do that. We know you don't like it. We
Yeah.
all know.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Good.
Hey, there's pocket fours and 7-6 suited though.
Those
So,
are hands.
Yeah. 7-6 suited flops open ended.
What?
Nope.
Queen 9 flops top 2.
Yep.
And Peter just moves in with top 2.
That's totally reasonable. He's got barely more than a pot
Yeah.
back. It's just going to end the hand unless one of these pairs like Snuggy or Digital Dan decide to get super sticky.
Or yeah, Snuggy's open ender.
Digital Dan's
with
already folded, right?
7-6.
No, Digital Dan took a while to fold, actually.
Fold.
Fold.
No.
Sounds like Snuggy announced his fold.
No, I was just trying to induce you a fold. I want to get heads up.
It's a good deal for Peter, though. He does not mind, I think, everyone just getting out of his way.
Yeah, there's a lot of draws on that board.
Yeah.
No, but I can call if I'm in.
I think it might be.
I think that's the first time that button's been used.
Ranges are wide enough. There's a chance he can get called by a worse hand. He can get called by a worse queen, I think, sometimes. That
King,
queen nine.
maybe King Queen.
Well, no. Oh, yeah. King Queen's good.
Yeah.
For sure. I think King Queen for sure is calling. I
Yeah.
think Queen Jack is calling.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I got to do to get people to fold around here.
That's true.
Oh, that's it?
This is one of the more tame
Flop of
poker times.
Yeah, this is probably
No, I'm
the
just saying.
tightest
it's,
poker episode of Poker Time ever.
I disagree.
Thanks, Snuggy.
That's probably
Yeah, no
actually
problem.
true.
You talking to me?
Where are you?
Nope. Talking to Blake.
Yeah.
Talking to Blake 2 years ago. It's like that movie with Keanu Reeves, The Lake House.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see it, but I know it's about something like that.
You write little notes and stick them in a mailbox, and
Somebody from a different time gets to read them.
yeah, you pass. Yeah, you're just corresponding. It's like the movie Frequency in its own way. Batiste has had enough, and he picked a great time to have enough, as it turns out.
This is the second time we've seen Batiste with a small 3-bet on a Blake open. I think he's trying to isolate Blake, and both times it hasn't worked out.
So Wheel's going to flat the 85 from the small blind. I think I like a 4-bet better, but
I agree, especially if you know that maybe the
Yeah.
Wheel isn't aware that Batiste is doing this.
yeah. I mean, I sort of get why he's calling, but feels like the flat is just
Well,
better.
Batiste flops best.
Batiste, as you see, is really staring at Wheel because Wheel's flat means he absolutely could have something here. Of course, he does have a pretty big hand.
A Wheel could have a set of 9s, a set of jacks, ace, queen.
He's got the monster combo draw, though.
He does. He would love to have the king of diamonds instead of the queen of diamonds.
Yes,
but
he would.
still, he'll take it.
I think he's going to have to not be afraid to rock and roll with this hand. Oh, and he
He
throws it
just
away
folds it?
instead. I don't
Is-
understand.
Is the board wrong?
I hope the board is wrong. Let's take. You know what? That 4 spades came off too quickly.
Yeah.
The board is wrong
Okay, thank goodness.
because that would have been crazy. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ace 9 4. Yeah, that's right. Because Blake had a gutter. That's
Yeah.
right. Okay. Wow. That's not cool, man.
Yeah, what
The interns. Blake actually had a gutter and a flush draw, and they are both good if he hits.
the flush draw is not really an exciting one.
Because he does not have a flush draw. I'm sorry.
No, he
There's
doesn't.
not 3 diamonds on the
No.
board.
The jack of diamonds is not on the board.
Ethel, our intern, has ruined everything once again. 5. Okay, Blake makes a pair. I think Blake should be bluffing anyway. When you make a 3 on this river. So the actual board is it's ace 9 4 8 3, right?
Yep.
Okay. Blake looks like he is gonna bluff.
Bet 280.
Good work.
I mean, diamonds did miss. There it is. But that should be all Batiste should think he could beat here would be diamonds. He doesn't have a diamond. Is Blake ever value betting a better 9? It's unlikely at this. It's unlikely.
I would strongly think that was not the case.
Because Batiste can have pocket pairs higher than the 9 in his range.
He's getting a really good price.
He is. We've seen before where it looked like Batiste had a pretty good read on Blake last episode. He raised the turn with a gutter in a spot
Where he made like a very ambitious out of position float.
yes,
on the flop.
Yeah. Looks like he is going to make a play at this too. Now he could call or raise. Both are kind of reasonable in their own way. Oh, still thinking about it.
Call.
He does call.
He makes the call. Blake's not going to like that.
Nice call. Good call.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to learn anything from this, but maybe there's a lesson to be had about not opening 3 deuce off.
Maybe.
That was pretty close. I mean, it was initially folding, and then I don't know. Didn't feel like it anymore.
And that's poker.
Yep.
I was initially folding, and then I didn't feel like it anymore.
It's honest.
Yeah. Yeah. In fairness to Batiste, he never feels like folding.
Most people don't ever feel like folding.
Yeah.
Folding's always the least fun option.
Yeah. It's a powerful weapon, though, in your arsenal.
Of profitability, sure.
Yeah. But
And
It's
Batiste
the
is
least
not
fun
interested
one.
in doing it at all anymore, apparently, as he's now joined the VPIP hordes.
yep. Digital Dan thinking, can I bump this up and knock some people out? I think you could, Digital Dan.
80.
I like the sizing.
Me
Goes-
too.
look at 80, I think.
Yep. Looks like 80, and I like it a lot.
I think Blake's going to call.
I think
my
Peter's
best guess.
probably going to call, too.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But that's,
He's got them both dominated.
Fold.
yeah, it's a good deal.
And Wheel now
Wheel
is
is
kind of reasonable to call at this point.
on the button,
4-player.
relatively deep. Relatively. It's reasonable. Yeah, I guess it's fine.
Queen high flop for BMW Blake.
Yep, he's now reverse dominating the digital one. Nothing else going on for anybody.
I don't think Dan can bet into 3 opponents.
Yeah.
And he does not. Blake can bet now that the aggressor has checked.
Yeah, he definitely should. Dan does have hands like jacks and nines and doesn't have kings and aces very often anymore.
Fold, fold.
This is probably just going to be the end of it, though.
Yep, I would think.
Maybe Dan could talk himself into a call if he didn't have the 10 of clubs. Put
I
Blake
mean-
on a flush draw.
Yeah, the 10 of clubs makes it tougher. And he does fold.
Blake still stacking that pot from before the break.
Took the queen 10 of hearts and turned it into one heck of a chicken sandwich. Am I right? One heck of a chicken sandwich.
I don't know if I can say you're right because I have no idea what you mean by that.
I mean, is it a good thing? One heck of a chicken sandwich? Of course it is. So he turned it into a good thing.
PETA wouldn't say so.
I think even Peter would be like, oh, it's one heck of a chicken
No,
sandwich.
Peter.
Peter?
PETA.
Peter.
Peter.
You're just switching up.
Yeah, I am.
Even Peter
Power pre-flop.
or Peter
Call.
be into that.
Call.
No diamond draw. I was just looking at white.
Oh no, Peter. Peter
I
is
thought I could steal it.
Peter's like, I'm not into the chicken sandwich thing at all, and I'm going to show you by limping with the 10-5 off.
Yeah. And I think Batiste might play every hand that he can reasonably play for a decently small price pre-flop for the rest of the session.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. Well, we have 6 players seeing this flop,
Yep.
including such luminary hands as 10-3 off and 10-5 off.
What do we got? What do we got here?
I don't know. There's too many hands.
BMW Blake has the best hand with 6-4.
Bet 45.
It's kind of incredible. And he bets it.
Peter very upset that he didn't win the hand.
You should be glad it only cost him $10 to see a flop.
Call.
Austin's going to call with bottom pair.
Yeah. Well, Digital Dan folded basically a pip below Blake with 2 5s.
Mm-hmm.
Heads up.
Blake did a pretty good job denying equity, though. I will say that with that bet.
And that card's kind of a action crusher. Blake is going to bet again. Now he's trying to get a jack to fold, I guess.
Or charge diamonds.
Yeah. Those are the two outcomes that
4
are
5.
positive.
4 5, 5 7.
Ooh, and he's this is another positive outcome. He's somehow
Yeah.
getting called by a 3.
Austin is a non-believer, I think
This
is what
is
we're learning.
extreme value.
You can get one more street out of it. Well, now that's
There's
this.
no way
one,
of-
no
no
one
way
likes
to
that
get
card.
any value.
What a death card. 4
Yeah.
5 comes in, diamonds come in. It goes check check.
Dan told me I better not play this hand in this game. Specifically that.
You didn't call off at third if you're stacked 3. It's okay.
Blake's the only one who's laughing. I'm noticing that.
Yeah.
And yes, Austin.
Who was the one who told the joke?
It was Blake.
Oh.
It was Blake. Matasawian laugh there. So that's such a bad card for Austin when the 7 of diamonds comes in, because now he can effectively beat nothing at all. Like, even the gutters have made at least a pair, and they all beat him.
Yep.
Everything beats him.
Yeah, you might be right. I'm probably close to you.
Turns out he was losing the whole way.
You just got to go old school and put the guy in random air for no reason.
Yeah,
how you
and
going.
just move in. You just move in. What are they going to do?
Most of the time. But you really
You make it $10, I make it $1,500.
back all at once.
See you in the showers, Jimmy.
What? Oh, excuse me?
It's the thing you say to someone when you're like threatening them.
Oh, okay.
All right, and Peter with a real hand-ish. Everyone with a real hand-ish. Batista's decided he's going to take his crap and raise with it instead of limp with it this time. Digital Dan might be thinking about a squeeze.
Not a terrible idea.
Not at all if he's been watching what these guys are
It
doing.
looks like he's doing it.
Digital Dan. Oh, is it only 80 though? It must be more than that, right? Surely it's more.
120. Still kind of small.
It is a little small, but it's at least sizable enough for each
No,
individual.
it's 110, even smaller.
Yeah. I'd like to see it be more like 140.
Yeah,
But
this feels more like if Peter and Wheel hadn't called the sizing Dan should go with, but since there are working colors, bigger would be a little better.
What happened?
Yep.
Yep.
I don't see Batiste folding here, and then I don't see the other guys
It's
folding.
75 to call, and there's 230 in the pot.
Wow, Batiste is folding.
He just believes Digital Dan.
He thinks he needs 2 pair or better to win the hand, I guess.
Oh, sorry.
So it's 110, right?
I thought it was.
Yeah, it's
I think Wheel absolutely should call here, closing this action with 10-7 of diamonds.
Me too.
Even though he's going to be out of position with Digital Dan.
I think we should agree that
Peter only has $400 back. Boy, Peter probably should have jammed or folded there, but
Wait, what?
No chip down.
Wheel
finds a
folds.
fold.
I mean, it turns out putting 110 in to win an extra 195 for Peter, not so bad. But Digital Dan,
He does flop a 3. That must feel pretty good.
Yep.
In case Peter had a bigger ace.
he's got a 3, he's got the gutter, he's got the backdoor flush draw, and Peter only has $400. Just move him in and don't worry about it. I think don't
Yeah,
give him any free
That's
cards.
certainly one option.
Or you could bet. I guess you could bet smaller. You could effectively move him in by betting 200, right?
All in.
He just moves in, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
As you said. Look at that odds Peter's getting.
That was my fault.
Because it says the pot's 3K. But obviously, he can't win that much.
400 win 3K. You may have to call Queen Jack.
I think
there.
you have to call
Yeah,
Queen Jack
you
there.
just close your eyes and put the chips in and
Yeah.
hope it all works out.
You dirty dog.
It was better than my ace queen.
Trying to find
Post flop.
Here's another lie.
a format
Currently.
sizing that doesn't involve him getting all in, so I just couldn't do it.
Good read.
Some people of early generation would call that malarkey.
That's the second time we've seen Peter
Not much, but
inflate the value of his hand after mucking it.
This was a significant inflation, though.
Yeah.
Last time it was from King Jack off to King Jack suited. This
Yeah.
time it's Queen Jack off to Ace Queen. That's a big upgrade.
Yep.
that's why it stunk.
It's better to upgrade it big if you're going to lie, I think.
The problem is that sometimes when you make that lie, you didn't think it through and realize that you would have played it differently.
Yeah.
If like Peter maybe would have just moved in with Ace Queen pre-flop
Maybe.
with his stack size.
He might have just called, though.
Call.
I don't know.
Raise.
It's like Ken's got a raise in him. Ken's like, this is how you play queen jack off, Peter.
His name is Peta.
Spell
Yeah, boy.
P-E-T-A, all caps.
Thanks, Dad.
P-E-T-A, all
Oh,
caps.
gummy bear here will get you.
Yeah, that's like from Hunger Games.
Call.
Oh, that's P-E-E-T-A, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. Don't lie.
He's got bread.
That was a trick question.
He's got bread. That guy.
He's got bread.
Wouldn't he like throw some bread or
So
something?
you do know about it.
I've seen the Hunger Games.
Big Hunger Games fan, are you?
Katniss is so sassy.
Check. I thought I was just fine.
Let's get it all the way
I mean,
over to
those
the,
first two
the
movies are really
month
good.
Yeah, but the third and fourth one
Oh,
are
crap.
atrocious. Atrocious.
But really, the first two
Bonus
are
points for
quite
getting it outside
quite entertaining.
I agree.
frame.
Anyway, Ken is the best hand, and he's going to get some action from Digital Dan.
I thought you called him Jiggle Dan, which is kind of a great name.
Jiggle Dan. Jiggle Dan sounds like a zany guy.
Yeah, I would if I didn't know better, I'd probably guess Jiggle Dan had more weight on him than this Dan.
Yeah,
You know?
you'd expect him to jiggle.
Yeah. Really thinking about this, is he going for a raise here?
That would be strange.
Call
No,
150.
okay. I'm
Maybe
surprised
he's-
it took so long.
Maybe he's trying to induce Ken to continue bluffing if Ken is bluffing.
Heads up.
Turns out Ken has got him pipped.
Not anymore.
Wow. Ken picks up the heart draw.
Yeah,
though.
this is an interesting card.
Check.
Ken checks it right back. And
Oh,
wow.
That is a bad run out for the digital one.
Digital Dan does know that Ace King just got there. Ken was the pre-flop raiser, so he checks. Oh, Ken looks like he's reaching kind of deep here.
I don't think Dan can fold.
Is it 225?
Yeah, there's no folding
Yeah, I
here.
agree. You could have the best hand.
Queen. Jack.
He could have Ace Queen.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you.
I turned it over for you to laugh at me, please.
Unreal.
Well,
Flop.
yeah,
not
we
unreal,
crushed, we
it's
crushed
real.
on the flop.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Bittersweet turn card.
Oh,
Puts the
really
flush.
nice.
It's unlucky for Dan. You know, a heart comes, he could probably just check fold.
Easily.
Yeah,
With the queen.
Sometimes he has hearts.
Jack on the river, good
Nice
card.
hand.
A jack could have come, that could have been great for Dan.
Yep. Would have been amazing.
But no.
Not for this guy, not this time.
No. Not for Jiggle Dan.
Got it. Smiling
so.
on the outside.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm just a smiling guy.
Fold.
Austin going to play the Digital Dan.
40.
Yep, people love that hand on this game. I don't know why that became a thing, but it sure did. The four deuce.
It's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy thing.
Call.
At least
Oh, okay.
at least for Dan it is.
That makes sense.
Call.
That's, of course, the answer to life,
Yeah.
the universe, and everything.
Tell us how you really feel.
42.
I didn't need much. Huh? Are you out of your mind? I'm in the game.
Ken calling with the king 8 off, by the way, in the cutoff. I just
Yeah.
wanted to point it out.
I thought we were done
I
pointing these
decided
things
to
out.
mention it. Well, Austin has the best hand.
You said like through
He's going to hitchhike his way to victory.
He's got, two back doors and bottom pair. Not
55.
the absolute worst kicker, even.
Fold.
Not the absolute worst, no. Sometimes
is
you're going to get 3 streets from deuce 3 here.
You really need favorable runouts, though.
Well, we're coming up on the last 10 minutes or so, so we might, even 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We might see some action.
I mean, usually this goes one of two ways, right? Everyone just starts limping and wants to see a pot and doesn't want to play a big thing, or there are people really looking to gamble. If I was Peter, I'd be looking to gamble, I'll tell you what. I'd be like, let's get these chips in the middle and see if we can double up
Yeah.
Fold.
these last 2 or 3 hands.
It's an interesting thing in a cash game because,
Call.
the majority of cash games don't expire the way that a
Right.
televised game does.
Right.
Call.
Usually you just leave when you want to. Once in a while, the table will break.
Yeah.
But in a cash game, that means you're already playing shorthanded and you might have...
But also, this
Seen it
is like a
coming.
known end point.
Yes.
It's different than
Yes.
like the maybe end
Call.
point.
Fold.
No question about it.
Great reef.
Ken's really playing those offsuit kings now. And he's coming along.
Wanted Austin to fold? Oh.
3 players.
I think I prefer Austin and then Ken fold though. Frankly speaking.
Ace high flop for Blake.
Gut
Just-
shot for Batiste.
Yep. That's all we got going on.
Blake could very reasonably check this. Looks like he's not going to.
Hoping to get value from a jack or a 9, which is not unreasonable against the way these people have been playing.
That is for sure.
Do you have it?
I way missed. Way missed.
2 of them?
Yeah, I'm betting top set there. Probably not. on a rainbow flop? No.
I don't know. There's lots of really bad turn cards.
My kicker currently played. Oh wow. Right? Yeah. On the turn it probably would.
Better than a deuce.
On the turn it probably would not have.
Better than a deuce.
I could beat it. I could beat ace deuce.
Deuce currently
I had a
plays.
deuce.
I could beat ace deuce as long as everybody folded on the flop and no turn card count.
That's what I had. Ace deuce.
Blake laying it out. I think most of the detectives at the table might put together what he had.
You
at
have to
this
have a
point.
degree in criminal psychology, though.
Or one of us hits two.
I'm being told this is the last hand of the session.
Wow. Okay.
It's been a fun throwback.
It has been pretty. They played differently back then.
Yeah.
You know, there was crazier and a lot wider ranges.
I'm
We
actually
should
a
get
little.
some of this.
I'm actually a little surprised at how different, how much the play has improved on Poker
Yeah,
Time
it really has.
since this session.
We got rid of Batiste and everything. Just
But these two clearly, actually was one of the better players back then. He was good.
yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He just likes to gamble it up sometimes.
I mean, that's maybe a little generous what you're saying there, but yes, he's certainly one of the better players. And that is a flush draw for Austin and an open ender for Snuggie with overs. Anything else?
10 for Peter.
10 for Peter. Wheel with 2 back doors.
Austin checks the flush draw.
Check around.
Everybody checks.
It's your button, right?
Yeah, it's just it's like a protected pot with 6 players in, you know. Oh wait, Batiste hasn't done anything yet.
Check.
And
Yeah,
now
he
he checks.
gives up on the idea of trying to bluff 5 players out with ace high. And Snuggie makes the nuts
It's
on the
gotta
turn.
feel good.
That gives Peter an open ender, but it's a bad open ender. It also gives Wheel an open ender. And Ken.
Yeah, Ken's open ender is way better. So if you're Austin, I might think that 9 is not that bad a card here to fire on, because I would assume if someone had king queen, they likely would have bet, especially the guys after me. you
Yeah,
know?
that's true. Gotta worry about 7-8 and queen 8 and hands like that, though.
Sure.
Ken's gonna make the call with his open ender. Snuggie
It's like he
is.
has it as much as you can have it. Is that
Looks like
just a call?
It looks like just a call.
Wow. That's interesting.
He's really trying to let them all in, I guess.
Maybe you want to give Batiste a chance to make a crazy play,
Yeah.
which not insane.
Wheel with the open ender.
If Snuggie had sized it not too big, he could have gotten calls from both Ken and Austin potentially with the
True.
raise. But it's kind of cool to play it sneaky like this too. I don't hate it by any means. I was gonna let it go.
Turns out to be a great decision.
Yeah. He's got a 3-outer to chop it 3 ways. That's all he's got going for him. So it's a good fold. It's a deuce of diamonds on the river.
It does pair the board, but with no bet on the flop, I don't think Snuggie should be too worried about that.
I don't think there's any concern at all. If everyone checks, they should bet. If someone bets, he could look at the sizing and figure it out if he wants to call or raise. But there's
I think you
can't
can
really do any
usually
folding.
raise. I mean, the only hand that you can legitimately think is a full house based on the way Austin played it is 9 deuce.
Yeah, I guess he could actually have quad deuces also, but
But he checked the flop. That's what I'm worried.
yeah, I hear you.
Like it was.
Anyway,
and
Snuggie
just
decides to
calls.
call. Only call. Snuggie, as we've seen, has been pretty careful post
Well,
flop.
it worked out well for him this time, and
Sure
that's
did.
the end of this poker guy's
That was
vaulted
really fun.
classic.
See you next week.
Dougie?